Welcome, everyone, to the 2019 Waco Annual Charity Open in Waco, Texas. We're here with the FPO feature card. My name is Sarah Hokom, and I'm here with Paige Pierce to call the shots.
It's good to be back at Brazos Park East, also known as the Beast. I think not only is it one of the best courses in Texas, but it's one of the best courses in the country with the variety it shows through the woods and the open. And I'm excited that the Pro Tour has chosen this for its second stop of the year.
We had an exciting front nine. Paige Bjerkaas pulling ahead with a hot start. Little trouble in between, but still -3 through the front. And I'm on her heels at a -1. Let's see how this action shakes out on the back. We start at hole 10, which is a par 4, 591 feet. This hole we tee from a slightly shorter tee pad than the men, leaving us with a pure distance shot off the tee, trying to land somewhere in the middle to give you a couple hundred feet to approach a plateaued green with slopes all around it.
This is, in my opinion, one of the prettiest holes I've actually ever played. It's just so pristine grass in the middle, but it also weaves through fairways, and I just get really excited when I walk up to this hole.
We had a little bit of a headwind here that we could feel some of it at the beginning, and then it got heavier about 50 feet up the fairway, right about there, where you see the disc turn. I'm going to call that a little bit of a miss on the release, but the wind did not help.
Paige is up next, and she is throwing her Ballista Pro. Actually, I apologize. This is just her Ballista, not Ballista Pro. She kind of puts it a little too low and a little too turned, so it just catches edge and gets a little cut roll, but she's still in the center of the fairway. This is Bree, I believe, the G-Star Katana.
And that was definitely a miss there. A little bit of a yank.
Honestly, maybe just the wrong disc choice into that headwind that you just spoke of. I'm going to throw my Bio Defender. It's nice and stable. It'll hold up with the wind. It's a little bit high, so it's going to tickle a couple branches and lose some speed, but I'm quite a ways down there. Just a little bit pinched on the left side, though.
Great drive, though.
Bree from a knee. Wanted that to turn a little bit more, but good hit on the gap, really. And I think she'll still have an opportunity to save the par.
I'm all stretched out here, throwing a relay on a slight turn.
Nice.
Works out pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
That may be the first time I've ever thrown that shot with that disc.
With that disc?
Angle.
All right. Well, 1 for 1. Success rate. Paige with her Lucid X Maverick. She puts a nice turn on it, and the disc is just a little bit too low, but you could see it was trying to hyzer out at the end there. But she's just right in the center of the fairway, have an easy par look.
Little sidearm out the gap.
Yeah, I was pinched, but, I was quite a ways down there, so I'm looking to get a birdie here.
Bree, from about 80. Leaves herself a little bit left, and now she's got that hill to contend with, and quite a tester here to save her par.
You look to be just outside circle 2. Going with your spin putt here.
Trying to just lay this up. And miss all those trees.
Yep. Perfect. Par's good, especially in these woods.
I feel like this is a very birdieable hole, though. I was not happy.
It totally is.
I was not
surprised
happy
to see Paige lay that up. Grady Shue was caddying, and he told her to lay it up, and I was like, Paige,
Grady
if
making
you're
her
feeling it,
play
you
a
gotta
little
go for that.
Conservative, huh?
Yeah. But I mean, pars are never bad. So who's to say what could have been? But that's a putt that excites the fans. And
a rare miss. I think that slope was bugging her on her footwork.
Maybe had some footing too. I have a little bit of straddle out to the side with some low branches.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about my straddle putts.
Those difficult ones are higher percentage.
Yeah, they give you something to aim around.
And you have to think so much more about them.
Right.
I feel like it's hard to get in your head when you're like, how do I even do this?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have Hokom and Paige doing a little bit of tap in time.
Tap in time, tap in time. Even though this is very birdieable, not too many people in the field got it.
Look at that reach back by Bree.
Paige Pierce with that straddle putt for the birdie. And then we also had Vanessa Van Dyken and Callie McMorrin also get that birdie.
Nice. We are on to hole 11. One of the shorter holes.
Yeah. This one is a straight flight from a slightly elevated tee. It's 279 feet par 3 to a difficult green. This green is elevated with a plateau and a pretty major slope on the left and in front of it, where if you hit that slope, you're probably rolling to an area that does not give you a putt.
Yes, you do not want to be left. Those trees are way tighter than you can even see here. So I'm trying to put some turn on my gatekeeper, and it handles it well and just kind of finishes right in the center there, a little outside the circle.
A little bit of a headwind here, and this is my insanity. Throwing that into a headwind turns out is not a good idea. So it turns a little bit more than I'm expecting, and
kind of kicks out to the edge.
It does. Lucky kick there.
This is Paige with her Maverick again. She loves this disc. Puts a little turn on it, but it's a little too stable. It's honestly, that tree was a really good hit. I think it was going to stable out into the woods, but that tree kicked her right side and should have a nice look at a 3.
Bree with a misfire again. That's 2 in a row. She's definitely trying to feel her stroke here, trying to get it back, get everything back in under control. Pitches out. She'll have a long approach to save her bogey.
I believe this is her passport,
which she has been throwing very well, and so just a little flazzard.
Well, yeah, that'll work.
Is that a word?
We can make up words.
Yeah, okay.
It's fine. But now she's throwing
frazzled,
her berg.
I think is the word.
Frazzled, yes.
There we go.
Now she's throwing her berg on a little bit of a turn. Just hoping to save double bogey at this point and just minimize the damage.
Long look. Definitely not a putt that I'm running, but definitely just trying to lay it safely on that slope.
And you did.
Good enough.
Yeah, it's hard to make approaches on a green like that. You can always play on the right side up there where it's flat, where Paige just landed, but if you get too far away, you leave yourself with a tester that is a death putt. So I'm just outside the circle.
Oh,
a little left
That's
side.
a tricky one to even run. Were you ever thinking about laying that up?
I was not. You know me. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, within circle 2, 95% of the time I'm going to run it, to try to be in the top of the division. I feel like you got to at least try, and just left that one a little left. Nice clean up there.
This one does kind of sneak up on you. What looks to be a relatively tame putt can give you some terrible ground play and leave you putting for double.
Yes.
Been there.
Been there, done that.
Cleaning up the par. Nice and easy. Looking confident on your stroke there.
Yeah, it's feeling good. It's feeling a lot better. I'm just obviously, I've missed my release point quite a few times this round, and as you can see, that's put me quite a few back from Paige. 4 strokes and just over halfway through the round. So I got some work to do on this back 9.
Hole 12, par 5, 609 feet. The hardest hole on the course.
Oh, this one is.
Supposedly.
Right.
I don't know if I agree, but that's what the stats say.
Okay, I like that it says that.
So this is a downhill turn to the right, and then it goes straight for about 300 feet, and then it goes back up to the right to a green that's pretty guarded by some trees.
Absolutely. This tee shot is very important. It either gets you in position or sets you up for bogey at best case. So I'm throwing my EMAC Truth here and early release. I actually considered re-teeing after that. It's just not where you want to be. I'm only probably 75 feet off the tee, but way in those bushes. You are not, though.
I'm happy with that shot. It's
Yes,
a
it's
relay on a
amazing.
low hyzer line.
You could see second card up there. You almost pushed in on them. Spotter gave us the green, but they didn't know you were going to throw it that good. Paige with her judge, she's just putting a turn on it. And I think she's wanting a little bit more turn, but she's in the fairway. She's just going to have a slight step out. Bree with a sidearm. She's trying to go for a flex, but just puts a little bit too much turn on it. Kicks a tree and hits over to the right side, so she's going to have a little bit of work to do as well. At this point, I've already put myself one stroke behind what I thought I was going to get, so I'm just trying to pitch out.
And that was no easy pitch out.
It was not.
There's no gaps there.
Yeah, and I'm still kind of pushed up on the back of this tree with a little bit of run-up room. I'm throwing my fell in here.
So super stable.
Early release again.
Didn't get the angle right. Oof.
Hit the tree, but I'm in the center of the fairway, so, trying to take the positives here, but...
Bree trying to recover. That's her drifter. A little early. Rolls out, but she's in the middle. Better to be in the middle than easily into the trees.
Mm-hmm.
Same disc, throwing that drifter by full turn.
Nice turn on it, but it's a little high, so it's going to drift out.
Pun intended.
It's going to drift out to the left side, and she's going to have another hindered approach there. I'm going deputy, and I actually love that shot until it found that ghost branch I did not even see. So, lack of preparation by me on that throw, and another stroke.
Bjerkaas going with the sidearm.
She
I don't see too many of those out of her.
She is. She puts a little turn on it, and I think it was a little bit more than she wanted. Definitely more than the disc could handle, and she's going to be on the side over there.
Going with that same disc I threw off the tee to relay.
That white tree down there, you're just trying to go just outside of that, right? On a hyzer angle?
Just to the left, yeah. I'm trying to throw a hyzer up this gap because if I throw it flat, it tends to get a weird, a negative skip on that side hill and will skip me straight into those woods.
You got a really good spot, though. You're kind of on the side hill, so maybe weird footing, but...
No, I'm really happy with that shot.
Yeah. That one I was not happy with. It was really weird. I had that bush right behind me and just couldn't...
Sidearm.
Nice shot.
Gets it up there.
Yeah, she's on the top. She's on the top, looking like a little bit outside the circle, and see what she can do.
Bree also with the sidearm. Hangs it out a little high and right, leaving 150 feet or so.
I'm going with a prime burst deputy here. That tree that you see that's kind of tilted, I'm just trying to go right inside of that on a turnover and try to get up there in the circle. I'm close to Paige Bjerkaas, so we'll have a putt off here in a moment.
Going the Envy. It's a little kick off the tree, but leaves myself a short putt. I like that.
Paige, as you can see, just outside the circle.
For birdie.
Oh, hit the band.
Oh, she wanted that.
Yeah,
Oh.
it looked like it was in, but that slight bit of wind coming in, I think it raised it, as it did with mine. This is right before we go out to the open again, so you can kind of feel the breeze starting to flow in.
We could also feel the breeze on our walk to this
Yeah.
hole, which was my first indication that, okay, the back six are going to be tricky
Yep.
in this wind.
And you start asking people in the gallery, like, hey, what's it feel like out there? Is it still windy? Because
Yeah.
you forget in those woods, the woods of the beast are very, very tight, and, it blocks the wind for most of it.
Yeah, you're only getting slight winds when outside of there we're getting, 30-mile-an-hour gusts.
Mm-hmm. So we are headed into course hole 1. But in the tournament, this is our last stretch of holes that are all long and open. And as Sarah said, the wind is picking up. Hokom, you just took the lone birdie on that hole and picked up 4 strokes on just me.
Yeah, that one's definitely a score swinger. Hole 13, 555, par 4. This one has a Mando on the right and a road on the right. There's a lot of open space on the left. As a backhander, you're going to want to throw something that goes straight for a while and then hyzers left down the slope. As a sidearm, there's a nice hyzer gap out the left side, which I am aiming for. That is my trace. And we do have a pretty heavy headwind here.
Mm-hmm. And if you guys watch the front 9, just like hole 2, there's really actually no danger for the sidearm. So I think this is a great play. You don't progress as far as a backhander would on the hole. But it's nice and open, and you still have a look at the same score.
For sure.
Paige with her Ballista Pro here. She puts a nice turn on it, but not too much turn with the road on the right. And it starts to drift down the hill to the left in a really good position. Bree, this is her Voyage by Full Turn Discs. This one is nice and overstable, so she's just looking to get hopefully near where Paige landed.
A little early there, but no real danger there. She's just going to pop out to the left and throw her second shot.
Shout out to Paige Bjerkaas for letting me use her hoodie. Started getting cold when the wind picked up. This is my Bio Defender. Only goal in mind right now is don't miss the Mando. Pretty much anywhere you land on that left side is workable. So little nose up, but I'm happy with where it came to rest.
Bree, about 400 feet. Throwing the power shot up the right side.
She looks to be right around the 200-foot marker, so she should have a relatively simple approach. But in that wind, that's still a testy.
Oh, yes. The wind always makes it interesting. Here I'm lining up a resistor, going straight up the gut. Hoping this will hold in the wind. And it does hold with the heavy headwind. I missed my line a bit, but headwind makes it tough to get to this one.
Yeah, and honestly, in that strong of winds, you almost want to add a stroke to what you hoped to get on the hole. This is my Lucidex Verdict. Trying to go wide and a little bit of hyzer. And don't give it quite enough. I come up just short of the circle's edge.
Would you club up there next time?
I think I would just throw it a little flatter. I put hyzer on it, hoping that it wouldn't flip in the wind, but the disc can handle it. As you'll see here, Paige is also throwing the Lucidex Verdict, and see how she put it flat. It still got that reliable fade. So I think that will be my adjustment for tomorrow. Bree, this is her Falcon by Latitude 64. Nice and stable. She's going to be, looking to get up and down, hopefully.
Got a tailwind putt there.
Yeah, definitely. Hokom just outside the circle.
Little crosswind.
See that blue disc? That's the spin, right?
Yes.
So we know when you got the blue putter, that's a spin putt coming up. Right under the basket, stress-free tap in coming up. I am definitely trying to run this. The wind's strong, but I feel like I got some moves to make.
Wind caught it just a bit.
Yeah, I floated it too much into the headwind, and I'm left with the tester. Bree also looks to be just outside the circle
For par.
Oh, just a tiny bit right. Good height.
Looks like the wind did that a little bit.
Yeah. So I'm about 22, 24 feet. And now the tailwind gets me. So I'm walking off this one with a bogey. It's a pretty easy par 4 in my opinion. What do the stats show?
This one, yeah, not too many people got this one today. Paige being one of them, Rebecca being the only other FPO to get this birdie.
So the wind did come into play quite a bit. Look at that commitment on the follow through. Love it.
Excuse me. So Bjerkaas getting a birdie again, and then a couple bogeys.
And we are on to the Zuka Kart hole. This is hole 14. It's a par 3. 303 feet. There's OB sidewalk on the left and also OB on the road on the right side. The left side is the biggest gap, and honestly, I think it's the least amount of danger as well.
Yeah, I would agree. And the headwind is raging here.
This is Paige's ballista.
We're gusting in the 30. I would say we're gusting at like 35 at this point.
Yeah, it was a strange disc choice to me, especially with that angle on it into a headwind. When she let it go, I wasn't surprised that it went OB. I think she either meant to aim it quite a bit wider or just not as turned over.
This is a Proton Photon, the most stable disc in my entire bag. I can't even throw this without a headwind.
You should make a song about that disc. Proton Photon.
Proton Photon. It sparkles too.
Nice. Here's Bree. The backhand puts a little too much turn on it again, and that headwind you just can't. Cut roll so severe that it rolls out of bounds. She hit the right side of the fairway and it rolled OB left. This wind is even more prevalent than you guys can see on this coverage.
Here you are going with the sidearm.
Yeah, I think it's the best play on this hole. Even if I come up short, I think it's the best play. But in this wind, I wasn't sure how much angle to put on it, and clearly I put just a bit too much and it hit that tree. But I'm excited to stay safe and have the opportunity to get up and down to save a par. So I'm throwing my loose deputy here. And I get up close to the basket, about 20 feet away.
Bree recovering here for her third shot with her Berg, the Firebird of putters.
She puts it right under it, really. No putt necessary.
Good play. Even the approach shots in this wind are extremely technical.
They're really important because putting in this wind is terrifying.
Any slight miss in the nose angle and the disc is not going to be next to the basket.
Mm-hmm. So Paige goes with her trusty Judge. This is actually her signature disc from Dynamic Disc, and puts it right under.
I've clubbed up to a Vector, which is an overstable mid, rather than throw a putter here, which I would normally do. Not really feeling this shot, but it works out.
Yeah, you almost hit it.
Looks like I was running it,
yeah,
but that
you
was
almost
not
hit it.
the intended plan.
So Paige to clean up with a bogey and misses. This was another rare miss, but I think she was just kind of looking at the flag. That's my assumption there. And got
Solid
a little
putt.
timid.
Great recovery after that. First
Thank you.
hit, a long approach in the wind, and a tester.
Thank you. Stoked to have a 3 on that and make up 2 strokes on the leader. Headed into some of the hardest holes on the course.
This feels like a tester.
Yeah. I'm telling you, this wind, I mean, you guys all know that are watching this, when you play in the wind, it gets hard, especially in tournaments.
Yeah.
You start thinking a lot, and anyway. Paige taps in for a double.
Little mishap there by our leader. But going into the final 4 holes, all par 4s.
She's tied with you for the lead, and Bree and I are quite a ways back. We are unsure what the other cards are doing right now, but from the looks of it, Paige is playing pretty hot, and you're right there with her.
Hole 15, par 4, 58 feet. It's a relatively narrow fairway with a OB fence on the right, a road on the left. That center area that has the metal fence is not out of bounds. And then it comes to a green that's a little bit it's right about the circle's edge as far as the green is concerned, with those OB walls at the back side of it. With a raging headwind here, the backhand play is really, really tough.
Very tough.
Even
That's
the
why
sidearm
you're going
play
sidearm,
is
right?
tough. That's the only reason I'm going sidearm, yes. Again, with that Proton Photon, the most stable disc in my bag, and it even turns a bit, but thankfully it is hooking up.
Nice. That's right where you want to be. In this wind, you kind of have to just assume that you're going to be a lot shorter than you wanted it to be. I'm throwing my felon here. I usually throw my defender, but I didn't even want a chance of it turning, so I just threw a felon right to the center.
Nice and low as well.
Thank you. And Bree throwing her Voyager. She said it is a more overstable destroyer, so good disc choice. If it sits, and that was a rare sight to see this day. The OB left with that much headwind, so the disc is obviously really stable. She just needed to trust it a tiny bit more. Paige with her Ballista Pro puts a little turn on it.
And dangerous in this headwind.
Yeah, and see that little gap in the fence right there? We didn't see that from the tee, but when we got up there, we realized just how lucky she got because it could have sailed right through there. But she stayed safe.
Bree with the Voyage again. There's not much. I only have one disc I can throw into the wind that's this heavy. I mean, 2 discs, but, when it comes to a distance driver, there's just one.
Right.
And I'm throwing it again.
Yeah, so you're going to see us all, repeating on the same few discs on these last couple holes because this wind, I mean, I really can't say it enough.
It is Texas. It wouldn't quite be a Texas tournament without wind like this.
But I think that's what's so great about the Beast, The wind was gone, and we were trying to navigate through these tight tunnels, and now we're out in this open with elevation and OB and wind, and it's just such a versatile course. It's awesome.
And that was her verdict?
That was her verdict. And
that's a really stable fairway?
Yes, it is. No, it's a mid-range.
Okay.
And I am going to copy her disc selection and throw my verdict, Lucid X verdict. Just nice and flat and wide. That was my correction from that other hole you asked about. And I'm inside the circle. Bree having to navigate over that electrical box.
With the Berg. Giving herself a nice little look.
Hokom with the putt attempt from a little outside the circle.
I'm really focusing on the nose angle here, trying to make sure I don't give the nose to the wind.
It's a good chip. Oof, very close. Paige just outside the circle. I think this is her favorite place to be. She gets to use that step putt and kind of just jam it into the chains, and hopefully it sticks.
Ooh.
And it does.
She's been solid with that step putt.
Yeah,
it looks a little awkward when she finishes it, but she's putting really, really well.
Yeah, she's really committing to her weight transfer, and so it's putting a lot of power into the disc and making it hit the chains with authority.
For birdie, tough birdies in these conditions.
Yeah, 22 to 24 feet, somewhere in there.
Ooh.
I was so stoked about that putt. They are not easy.
So we got 2 birdies on the round, both the Pages.
We were the only 2 birdies?
And then Kat would join you.
Okay.
In the accolade as the only birdies of the day.
All right. Yeah, we call this hole the corral hole. I'm not sure that that's technically what that is, those metal
I kind of think that metal should be out of bounds.
You think? Inside
I do think
there?
It should be.
Wow.
I mean,
it would absolutely make the hole play a stroke harder, for sure.
It seems like, it's only 100 feet wide or so.
Yeah.
So, if you don't think you can get over the whole thing, you could always lay up, and anybody can
change
throw
it for the guys, for sure.
Yeah,
because they're trying to mash drives up there.
And they wouldn't be able to go for the eagle.
So Paige takes a stroke over Sarah, and she takes the lone lead going into hole 16.
Par 4, 585 feet. It's a pretty standard distance shot off the tee, even in this headwind. The next shot gets a little bit tricky with a low ceiling on the left, some OB on the right, a couple trees to navigate, and then, of course, our fabulous elevated baskets. Got the pyramid underneath them this year. Shout out to Kids Disc Golf for sponsoring those pyramids.
I'm up first, and I'm throwing my Biofusion Defender. Can trust it into a headwind. It gets a little bit of turn, but watch this overstable finish. It's a good distance driver. I will choose it every time in the wind.
Super mash in a headwind.
Thanks. Paige is up next. She goes with her Ballista Pro again. choosing to readjust her line.
Little bit of turn there. You think she should be stabling up a little bit?
I asked her to look at her Ballista Pro after that drive because my Ballista Pros don't fly like that. And that one was really, really flat and kind of almost soft. So I told her I had a good Ballista Pro for the wind. Nice and domey and stiff one.
Here I'm going with another Photon, just one that's neutron and a little bit beat up. Thank you, Dabs Kramer, for that hookup.
Right in the center of the fairway. Not much more you can ask for. Honestly, it doesn't necessarily matter where you land on this drive as long as you feel comfortable with your approach from there. There's so much room to work with. This is Bree's Voyager again. Look at that stable finish.
Great line.
I'd like to see her experiment with a little bit more power on that disc because clearly it can handle any amount of torque she puts on it. She throws it again for her approach. And look how much turn she puts on it here. And it still stables up. I was blown away. When she threw that shot, I was standing right behind her. And I asked her what the disc was because it looked like it was going to cut rolls. She turned it so much. But it still stabled out.
Proton, Photon. I really focused on throwing this low to get under those branches, and it still lifted right out of my hand.
Kind of raised up into the headwind.
Yeah, that headwind.
So this is Paige with her Lucid X Verdict. And she is going to skip inside the circle. Well, looks to be just outside the circle, actually. I have my Classic Blend Marshall. This is my go-to for approach shots. Into this headwind, I'm focusing on keeping it on a hyzer release. And it stays on that same release and just kind of glides right where I put it.
Bree throwing her third shot, busting out the sidearm. Little miss angle there. I don't know if that was the wind or a little bit of nerves. She'll have some work to do still.
Sarah with the backhand approach.
That is
nice and low and no risk of wind.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that wind is just raging still. That was my tensor trying to fight the wind. Bree with a little approach shot.
Didn't
Nice
even
and
want to
close.
mess with it. Just laying it up.
Yeah,
Paige,
that's
same thing. Again, I was surprised by that.
I was too.
Yeah. So she's playing smart golf. She's choosing when to pick her battles, and I think it's showing signs that she's transforming from a rookie into a veteran pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm. Those world championship titles do that too.
Hokom, solid in the heart. These are not easy
putt.
ones to hit in the wind, elevated. Cars ripping by, some of them honking.
Always nice to get a honk in the backswing.
Yeah. So good focus there, and we are on to hole 17. We have 2 holes left in this round 1, and 2 of the hardest holes, they both incorporate a lot of water and OB danger. So the 1-stroke gap you see between Paige Bjerkaas and Sarah Hokom is
not a place to be comfortable.
No. You can't get comfortable.
No,
definitely
not. Hole 17, 530 feet. The ladies are playing from a tee just short of the men's pad. First shot, you're trying to get up this hill and put yourself positioned on top of the hill in order to make a play for this right turning fairway. It's a severe right turn, almost 90 degrees, with now approaching a green with water on the left and an OB wall on the right. The rough is super rough outside of the OB. The second shot is downhill. There's a ton of technicality here.
Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm going sidearm. I'm just trying to get outside of that tree with a nice stable finish and hopefully passing those 2 trees that you see right there. I am ecstatic with this shot.
That was a bomber.
It gives me the option to go for the birdie.
You're getting a ton of power on the sidearms.
Thank you. Been working on them. Paige is throwing her Lucid X Maverick here. I was surprised with the disc choice, but she made it work really well. But from where she is, she kind of takes the birdie out of play. You kind of got to be past those trees to have a confident look at the basket.
I think you also have a line on the inside of those
You
trees.
do, but
if you're short enough.
it's really hard to hit, in my opinion.
Here I'm throwing a trace. Turns a little more than I wanted to out of my hand, but leaves me up at the top of the hill to navigate those couple trees down to the green.
Bree, last on the box. She's going with the sidearm as well.
She's got a pretty well-rounded game.
Puts a little turn on it, but it stables out nice. She's up there on the top of the hill. Short of those trees, as you can see, you're kind of having to navigate around the bushes that are OB on the right.
Overturns her falcon a little bit into the water. She'll be a couple 100 feet away on that approach from OB. I've got these 2 trees in my way, and I'm having to flex my really overstable photon. And I don't flex it enough. It actually just gets stuck up in those vines.
If you could go back, would you have laid that shot up, or would you have just put a little more turn on it?
I would have thrown the shot correctly.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the right choice.
It's
it was
such a
just
hard
misexecution.
It's such a hard shot. Paige with her judge, she trusts this thing, and I'm assuming this is why she put her name on it.
Wow.
Right outside circle 2.
Textbook.
She's not going to have a birdie look, but she's going to have very, very easy par.
I like this lie a lot.
I
if I could
love
get this
it.
lie
If I
every
could
day.
place my disc on the fairway, I would put it within 5 feet of this. And I'm throwing my classic blend Marshall. Just nice and straight, trying to get...
tracking,
Yeah.
just outside the circle.
I wanted a little more power on it to get closer, but I didn't want to jeopardize turning it over. So I'm all right with that.
Yeah, understandable.
And Breeze was actually... Was it inbounds?
Was it?
I don't remember.
I thought it was out of bounds, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
We'll see. I guess we'll see once it's
Yes, we will.
Her with a thumber approach. You see that?
Yes, it was
Yeah.
so sweet.
She's great. She's so well-rounded.
She throws a few thumbers, and it's really nice to see. You don't really see that in the women's division.
Not too often. Oh.
I committed, but it was just a little bit low into that tailwind, so I'm going to settle for a par, as does Paige Bjerkaas.
Ooh.
Oh.
Trying to save
Such
the
a
par.
good line. Just a little bit low.
Ooh, for bogey. I was sweating that one a bit.
It's a good hit, though. Honestly, a bogey on this hole doesn't really lose you that many strokes. There's a lot of mistakes on this hole in our division, I believe.
That was a quick setup there by Paige.
Yeah, it didn't seem like she really took her time there. She might have putted it quick because she didn't feel any wind.
That's true. Yep. When I stepped up for my putt just before that, there was no wind, and I push putted it when I was thinking I needed to spin it with the wind we've been experiencing these last 6 holes. Great par there, Paige.
Thank you. I'm definitely happy with a par there on the 17th. This is a tough hole and one that really cost me last year in this tournament.
Yeah, I know the feeling. 58% of the field got bogey or worse on this hole with Kat and Christina Lincecum getting the only birdies.
Lefty and Kat, one of the best players in the world.
Hole 18, par 4, floor 92 to round out the round. We got a huge body of water in the middle of this fairway. A lot of people will play up the left side, throwing a tee shot, a safe tee shot, and then throw over the water on their second shot. Some will go for the green off the tee, trying to get that eagle, which that is what Miss Pierce is doing.
Yeah,
Kaboom!
Literally what I just said about Paige, how she may have rushed it to avoid the wind. I felt a little lapse in the wind, and so I rushed my drive there and had a lapse in thought process. I didn't even think of where I was aiming. I just tried to throw it hard.
Go.
Paige throws a good shot, sets herself up. This is honestly an easy hole to birdie if you connect well on the drive. If you play where Sarah and Paige are playing with this hyzer, you just have to repeat the same shot almost to get up and down for the birdie. You went a little bit wide there, a little bit wider than you thought.
I was trying to adjust to the tailwind, and I did not adjust the correct way.
Yeah, and it kind of dropped it.
Exactly.
But you're right on the edge of the water, quite a ways up there, so there's a chance to get up and down.
It's the way to miss the hole.
Yes.
Rather than missing it early
I think
left.
I heard you say that
as
well.
Yeah. I know that if I was gonna throw it out of bounds, it was gonna be in the water, not on the left side with the with the sidewalk.
So I'm left with this to get up and down for a bogey. I throw my Lucid X. For a par. I throw my Lucid X verdict and get to about 12 feet. So I'm all right with a par.
Great recovery. I'm also throwing my third shot here with a shock. It handles that headwind pretty well.
Yeah, that was honestly the perfect stability choice. Flipped up and rode and hyzered out right when I needed to. Bree going with the backhand here. If she can get up and down, she gets a birdie. Would be a nice way to finish the round out.
Ooh, with that twirly
Yeah.
follow through.
Full committal.
Ooh.
She hyzered out a little short and little left. She's going to be close to the water's edge. And Paige with her Lucid X verdict is about 15 feet away from finishing the round out with a birdie.
We've got kind of a tough call here with Bree, but we decide that it's too close to call. We're giving her benefit, so she is not out of bounds.
And throws a decent up shot and should be able to finish that out.
Saving the par, even after going OB. It's always nice when that's a possibility.
Yeah, definitely. And Bree looking to close out her first appearance on a feature card. I'm sure she would, if she was here, she'd like to thank all the fans that voted her on. And
somebody sponsor that girl.
Yeah, what are y'all doing? She's out on the road full time, and the fans have her back.
Paige closing out a great round, -3. Always great to be under par on the beast.
Absolutely. You have to feel very accomplished to come in under par, 25 to 35 mile an hour winds, and a couple par fives, lots of danger on this course. So I'd assume she's feeling really good right now with 2 strokes over you, and
yeah, and looks like she'll be on the lead card tomorrow. It'll be Paige Bjerkaas, Katrina Allen, myself, and Vanessa Van Dyken makes that lead card for round 2 of the Waco Annual Charity Open. Thank you to the Pro Tour and the PDGA and everyone for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.